Hello, my name is Kyle Steele, council member elect for Norman City Council Ward 6, and this is the summary for the city council meeting that happened on March 10th, 2026. As usual, agenda packet and meeting links will be listed down below. As a heads up, this meeting was cut short due to bad weather in the area, so on the agenda that's linked, the city council only got through item number 20, which is the first item on the non-consent docket that we will talk about. The big items that a lot of people were concerned about were items 21 and 22 regarding potential OTA contracts, and those are going to be discussed next week on March 17th, which is that Tuesday at 6 p.m. Everything on the non-consent docket, announcements and the proclamations, it did go as expected. The first and only non-consent item that was discussed was about a development on the Chautauqua and Hoover Street area that was receiving quite a bit of pushback from neighbors and churches in the area. To sum it up, essentially, if you were to look at this area on a map, it's mostly single-family homes, which with some churches nearby and a sorority house as well. And essentially the spud that was being asked for was for a series of three to four story apartment buildings, just over 100 units. And a lot of people were saying that this would destroy the character of the neighborhood. There's also, no other apartments around, so that's, there might be a bit of intrusion, of people like looking down into like their backyards and things like that. There's also concerns that essentially that the market for these units is not exactly what Norman needs. Norman is in need of additional houses. However, the concern is that by having these units be built, they're essentially micro units and they're pretty close to campus, that these are just going to be used as more student housing for people who have for students who have rich parents, or as second football homes for people who are just coming to visit go see OU games rather, and it's not going to be used by long-term residents of Norman. There's also concerns that parking will become a mess. You're adding 100 plus units to a street or a square block, and that could cause a knock-on effect with parking in the area, which is already less than desirable at times. On the flip side, for those who were supporting this, it was brought up that this is consistent with the AIM Norman plan, rather, for medium density in this area. And essentially, Norman does need more housing units. At the rate that we as a city are growing, there is a shortage of available houses. And if you do build here, there's already some infrastructure that is in place to support this development. Something additional to note about this development here is that a lot of the area that was proposed for this development is already zoned R3, which means the developer already has the ability, or authority rather, to build a 3-story residential structure there. So the fact that they have been working with local residents on their concerns already and stated that they will continue to work with local residents and churches is kind of being seen as a sign of goodwill, that the developers in stonewalling local residents, and there was a time sensitive issue as to why this project had to be approved and move forward. Some council members did also express concerns that if this development was denied, or if this spud was denied rather, the developer might still just go ahead and build what they want to build, but to slightly different specifications, since again they already have the authority to build a 3-story structure under the R3 zoning. And if they can't get a spud, they could do it anyway and not take into account the concerns of residents. Despite the many objections from local residents, this development did end up getting unanimously approved. However, once again, it was reiterated that the developer is going to continue to work with residents on kind of, some still gray area issues that they were having as this development goes on. As stated earlier, this meeting was ended early due to the weather. However, it did still last 2 hours and 30 minutes because this was such a contentious topic. When it comes to the meeting reconvening this Tuesday, it's only going to be about the 2 potential OTA contracts as well as the public comment section. So if you are against the turnpike, or you are wanting to support advocacy groups that are fighting the turnpike, I would highly consider you to show up this meeting, wearing red or something similar to support. If you have any questions or concerns about anything, however, feel free to just email me at KyleForNorman@gmail.com. Thank you.